The expensive multivitamins, the high-dose vitamin D3, the premium magnesium, and the organic zinc supplements you are swallowing every single morning are doing absolutely nothing for your cells unless you fix this one hidden physiological barrier right now. You are essentially creating highly expensive urine and putting a massive unnecessary filtration load on your liver and kidneys because your body is locked in a state of malabsorption. Full disclosure, I formulated some of the highest quality whole food supplements on the market, but I will be the very first person to tell you that if your underlying digestive mechanics and metabolic signals are broken, even my supplements will pass straight through your system without ever touching your bloodstream. Right now, before your brain loses focus, type the word absorb in the comments below to lock this metabolic rule into your subconscious mind. Smash the like button so this warning reaches millions of people who are wasting their hard-earned money, and subscribe to the Metabolic Health Lab channel immediately, because what I'm about to lay out for you over the next few minutes will completely rewrite how you approach your nutrition, your energy, and your cellular longevity. Most people believe a very dangerous lie, and that lie is that you are what you eat. In reality, you are only what you actually absorb and assimilate at a cellular level. You could be eating a pristine, organic, $100 a day diet and taking a handful of premium capsules, but if the internal environment of your gut, your gallbladder, and your stomach lining is compromised, you are functionally starving on a cellular level. But here's what most people completely miss when they start experiencing low energy, brittle nails, thinning hair, or waking up exhausted after 8 hours of sleep. They think the solution is to simply buy a stronger bottle of vitamins or double their daily dosage. They completely ignore the primary gatekeeper of the entire human digestive system, which is the exact level of acid inside your stomach. Your stomach is not just a holding tank for food. It is designed to be a highly concentrated, intensely volatile pool of hydrochloric acid. On the scientific scale of acidity, which we call the pH scale, a neutral substance like pure water sits at a 7. A highly acidic environment is down at a 1 or a 2. Your stomach needs to maintain a pH between 1.5 and 3.0 to function correctly. To put that into perspective, that level of acidity is strong enough to dissolve a piece of solid metal. It is an evolutionary barrier designed to melt down dense proteins, liberate tightly bound minerals from plant and animal matter, and sterilize every single thing you swallow so that harmful bacteria, parasites, and fungi never make it into your intestinal tract. As we cross the age of 40 and 50, our bodies naturally lose the ability to manufacture this intense hydrochloric acid. The pH of the stomach begins to drift upward, moving toward a 4, a 5, or even a 6. This is a silent disaster for your metabolic health. When your stomach acid becomes weak and diluted, it triggers a catastrophic domino effect throughout your entire digestive tract. The very first casualties of this weak acid are your minerals. Calcium, iron, zinc, magnesium, and trace minerals like selenium and copper require an extremely low, highly acidic environment to strip away their chemical bonds so they can be converted into an ionized form. If your stomach pH is too high, these minerals remain locked up in an insoluble state. They slide right out of your stomach and into your small intestine as giant, unabsorbable molecular clumps that your intestinal lining cannot recognize or transport. If you have ever taken a high-dose calcium or iron supplement only to end up with severe constipation, bloating, and zero increase in your actual blood levels, drop a yes in the comments right now, because your body is screaming at you that your stomach acid is completely failing to break down those minerals. And this is where things get even more serious, because your stomach acid does not just break down minerals, it acts as the primary chemical trigger for your pancreas and your gallbladder. When a highly acidic mixture of partially digested food, which we call chyme, leaves a healthy stomach and enters the first part of the small intestine, the intense acidity touches the intestinal wall and sets off a massive hormonal alarm. This alarm tells your gallbladder to violently contract and squeeze out concentrated bile, and it tells your pancreas to flood the area with powerful digestive enzymes. But if the fluid leaving your stomach is weak, warm, and alkaline, that hormonal alarm never goes off. Your gallbladder remains completely stagnant. Your pancreas stays asleep. The bile just sits there, thickening into sludge, and the enzymes never arrive to finish the job. Bile is the single most important fluid when it comes to absorbing your fat-soluble vitamins. I am talking about vitamin A, vitamin D3, vitamin E, and vitamin K2. These 4 vitamins are the absolute pillars of your immune system, your bone density, your cardiovascular health, and your skin elasticity. Fat-soluble vitamins cannot dissolve in water. If you drop a capsule of vitamin D3 into a glass of water, it just floats on top. It cannot mix. Your body is essentially a water-based system, which means to absorb a fat-soluble nutrient, that nutrient must be completely emulsified, broken down into microscopic droplets, and made water-soluble. That is the exact job of bile. Bile acts exactly like dish soap on a greasy frying pan. It breaks down giant globs of dietary fat and fat-soluble supplements into tiny digestible spheres called micelles that can effortlessly slide through your intestinal wall and enter your lymphatic system. If you are taking 10,000 international units of vitamin D3 every single day to fix your low mood or your weak bones, but your gallbladder is not releasing bile because your stomach acid is weak, that vitamin D3 is completely useless. It passes straight through your bowels without ever entering your bloodstream. This is why millions of people take vitamin D for years and wonder why their blood panels never move out of the deficiency zone. Hit the like button right now if you have been taking vitamin D3 or magnesium for months but still suffer from muscle cramps, low energy, or poor sleep, because you are about to understand the exact mechanical fix that will unlock those nutrients instantly. What happens next is the part nobody talks about, and it involves the actual structure of your small intestine. Once food and supplements are broken down by acid, bile, and enzymes, they enter an area of your body that looks like a dense, plush shag carpet. The walls of your small intestine are lined with millions of microscopic, finger-like projections called villi, and on top of those villi sit even tinier hairs called microvilli. This is your absorptive surface area. If you smoothed out all these tiny fingers, the inside of your gut would have the surface area of an entire tennis court. This massive surface area is wired with highly specialized microscopic gates and transport proteins designed to grab passing nutrients and pull them directly into your blood vessels. But in our modern world, we are constantly bombarding this delicate microscopic carpet with chronic inflammatory triggers. The absolute worst offender is a state of chronic elevation of a single hormone, insulin. When you consume a diet high in refined carbohydrates, hidden sugars, processed grains, and constant snacks, your pancreas is forced to pump out massive toxic waves of insulin to clear the glucose from your blood. This constant flooding of insulin triggers localized cellular resistance and systemic inflammation, which directly attacks the tight junctions of your intestinal wall. The delicate, finger-like villi begin to flatten, wither, and blunt, a condition known as villous atrophy. Imagine trying to vacuum a spill out of a plush carpet versus trying to vacuum it off a flat, cold piece of concrete. When your villi are flattened by inflammation and insulin resistance, your absorptive surface area shrinks from the size of a tennis court down to the size of a small doormat. You can swallow the most expensive, organic, liposomal supplements on Earth, but if the microscopic gates on your villi are flattened and destroyed, those nutrients have nowhere to land. They simply glide over the smooth, inflamed surface of your gut and exit your body. If you want more simple metabolic fixes to protect your gut lining and reverse insulin resistance, make sure you are subscribed to Metabolic Health Lab right now, because we decode these hidden physiological traps every single week. Now, let's look at the absolute worst lifestyle habits that completely paralyze this entire nutrient transport system. The absolute poster child for this is prolonged, uninterrupted sitting combined with high emotional or mental stress. When you sit at a desk for 8, 10, or 12 hours a day, staring at a screen under deadlines, your body enters a chronic, low-grade state of fight or flight driven by the stress hormone cortisol. From an evolutionary perspective, when your brain perceives stress, it assumes you are being hunted by a predator. It immediately shifts all blood flow, oxygen, and metabolic energy away from your digestive organs and pumps it into your biceps, calves, and thighs so you can run for your life. Your stomach completely stops producing hydrochloric acid, your gallbladder ceases all contractions, and the blood vessels supplying your intestinal villi constrict down to a fraction of their normal size. You are essentially putting your entire digestive tract into a state of ischemic starvation. If you take your daily supplements at your desk while responding to stressful emails, you are guaranteeing that they will do absolutely nothing for your body. So how do we fix this? What is the single foundational step that you must take before you swallow another capsule, pill, or powder? You must manually lower the pH of your stomach and restore the acidic fire needed to unlock these nutrients. The most elegant, natural, and scientifically proven way to do this is by utilizing organic, raw, unfiltered apple cider vinegar combined with betaine hydrochloride right before your largest meals. Raw apple cider vinegar contains a highly concentrated amount of acetic acid. When you drink a single tablespoon of apple cider vinegar diluted in a small glass of water about 10 to 15 minutes before you eat or take your supplements, it acts as an immediate chemical primer. It artificially drops the pH of your stomach back down toward that optimal 1.5 to 2.0 range. This sudden burst of acidity instantly alerts your stomach lining to start secreting its own native hydrochloric acid. It sends the necessary hormonal signal to wake up your sluggish gallbladder and forces your pancreas to release a flood of enzymes. If you have severe, deep-seated acid reflux, heartburn, or GERD, your instinct might be to tell me that you already have too much acid and that adding vinegar will make it worse. But this is where the mainstream medical narrative has completely misinformed you. True hyperacidity is extraordinarily rare. In 95% of cases, heartburn and acid reflux are caused by having too little stomach acid, not too much. When your stomach acid is weak and alkaline, food sits in your stomach for hours without digesting. It begins to ferment, rot, and produce toxic organic gases. These gases build up massive upward pressure inside your stomach, forcing the delicate muscular valve at the top of your esophagus, the lower esophageal sphincter, to pop open. The weak, bubbling mixture of rotting food and diluted acid splashes upward into your throat, causing that burning sensation. When you take an antacid or a proton pump inhibitor, you neutralize that tiny bit of acid, which stops the burning symptom, but you permanently destroy your ability to absorb vitamins, leading to severe osteoporosis, chronic fatigue, and muscle wasting years down the road. When you introduce apple cider vinegar, you lower the pH, the stomach valve receives the correct chemical signal to tightly lock shut, the reflux vanishes, and your nutrient absorption capacity plummets back down into a highly efficient zone. If this concept of low stomach acid causing reflux is completely new to you, drop a reflux in the comments section below so I can see how many of you have been trapped in this cycle, because understanding this single mechanism can completely transform your long-term health. Once you have fixed the acidic environment of your stomach, you must address the fat-soluble delivery system. If you do not have a gallbladder, or if your gallbladder has been damaged by years of high insulin eating, you need to introduce purified bile salts into your supplement regimen. Taking a high-quality bile salt supplement during your meal provides your small intestine with the exact emulsifying dish soap it needs to dissolve fat-soluble vitamins. Furthermore, you must change when you take your supplements to match your body's natural mechanical rhythms. Never take your vitamins on an empty stomach with a glass of black coffee. Coffee is highly regularizing to the bowels, but it contains chlorogenic acids and tannins that can bind to minerals like iron and zinc, preventing their absorption. Instead, you should always take your fat-soluble vitamins A, D3, E, and K2 with your largest, fattiest meal of the day. If you eat a meal containing healthy fats like wild-caught salmon, whole eggs, grass-fed butter, or avocados, that dietary fat triggers a massive, natural release of native bile. When your supplements hit that pool of natural bile, their absorption rate increases by over 300%. To maximize this effect even further, you should coordinate your supplement intake with your physical activity. Just like collagen requires mechanical load to guide it into the bone matrix, your cellular transport gates require physical circulation to pull vitamins out of the bloodstream and into the tissues. If you take your supplements, eat your nutrient-dense meal, and then go for a brisk 10 to 15-minute walk, you generate a highly efficient metabolic pumping action. The movement increases blood flow to your mesenteric arteries, opens up the capillary beds surrounding your intestinal villi, and accelerates the rate at which transport proteins can ferry nutrients across the cellular membrane. Let's summarize this entire viral blueprint for cellular absorption so you can stop wasting money and start healing your metabolism. The human body does not run on the quantity of supplements you swallow. It runs entirely on the precision of your internal chemistry. If you're living a sedentary lifestyle, eating high carbohydrate foods that spike your insulin, and living under chronic stress, your stomach acid will dilute, your gallbladder will stall, and your intestinal villi will flatten into an unproductive wasteland. To reverse this decay, you must introduce apple cider vinegar or betaine hydrochloride before your meals to drop your stomach pH back down to an unyielding, acidic fire. You must take your fat-soluble vitamins alongside healthy, high-fat meals to guarantee a massive flood of bile, and you must move your body to pump those absorbed nutrients directly into your cells. Right now, I want you to take absolute control of your health journey. Type the word metabolism in the comments section to signify your commitment to fixing your internal environment. Hit that like button to help smash the algorithm so this truth reaches every family struggling with chronic health expenses, and subscribe to Metabolic Health Lab right now to unlock our complete vault of advanced metabolic strategies. Do not let your health pass through you as expensive waste. Fix your absorption first, and your body will reward you with boundless energy, dense bones, and a vibrant, resilient life. I will see you in the very next video right now.